All right, hello. How y'all doing out there, man? Welcome to the second episode of Physical Flicks.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen episode one, I'll put a link. Does it go right there? I gotta learn how to do it. Before we get into the Physical Flicks, actually, I got two movies I want to talk about, but before we get into that, I actually have a couple other things I want to do on here. What I want to do with Physical Flicks basically is I just want to get on here and talk about a movie that I have on Blu-ray or 4K. That's basically it. I was thinking about that and I was like, you know what? I actually should just talk about whatever kind of physical thing I've gotten recently that has anything to do with movies. You know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, we can show off like pop figures and things like that. The other thing that contributed to this decision is actually about 2 weekends ago now, I went to WasabiCon, which is a convention that comes to my city, and it was pretty cool. You know what I mean? It was my first time going to a convention. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was pretty fun, and they had a few things there. I didn't blow all my money. I didn't buy a whole bunch of stuff, but I did get a few things. One of those being this shirt I have on, which basically is just Sasuke and Itachi at different points in their lives, of course, as kids, and then to their fight towards towards the middle of Shippuden, like right before like the middle halfway point, because it was right before the Pain arc, I'm pretty sure, and then of course them at the end with Edo Itachi. So yeah, I thought this shirt was super dope. And I also got this that I have to take out of the sleeve. And shout out to the dude that did this. I wish I had his socials or his card or something so I could like advertise the dude to you guys. But since I don't have those things, I'll just have to hope that he sees this one day. This dude made this Jiraiya metallic art piece that basically like details Jiraiya's entire life from when he was a child all the way to when he's adult. And for those who don't know who Jiraiya is a character out of Naruto. Yeah, it basically, if I could get it to focus. Yeah, I thought this was super dope. Again, shout out to the guy that did this. I wish I remembered your name or had your card or something. Man, that's a fuck up on my part. But if anybody out there recognizes his art or knows who did this, please send my thanks and gratitude to that guy, even though thanks and gratitude are the same thing, because this is awesome and what that dude does is super awesome. So now also while I was there, I had to buy some pops, right? The crazy thing is I actually had a pop collection way back in the day, like not way back, pops ain't been around that long, but I think this was 2016, 2017, 2018. I started collecting pops. I had a decent collection, I didn't have a whole bunch, but one day I got rid of my pops. And you guys are going to kill me probably for this, but I actually threw them away. I don't know why I did this. I don't know. I really could not tell you why I did this. And it wasn't even long enough. What? It wasn't even long enough ago to try to blame it on, oh, I was just too young. No, I genuinely do not know why I threw those away. Recently, I started my pop collection back up, as you guys have seen in basically all my videos. And yeah, man, at this WasabiCon, they had some cool shit. I got Count Dracula, which is from the movie, of course, Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I actually just watched 2 months ago or something like that. So when I saw that they had this, I got really excited because I was just like, oh, I just watched this about a couple months ago. But yeah, this was hard. Like, come on, man, look at it. It's hard. I wish I had we gonna get a better camera, bro. Or we gonna get a camera in general because this is just a freaking iPhone. And I also got America Chavez from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That was gorgeous. You gotta show love to the melanin characters, man. You got to. This is actually has become like one of my prized possessions like instantly because I didn't even know that this existed. I've seen pop figures of celebrities and things like that, but I never really like thought about it like, man, I should get a pop figure of this guy. What guy am I talking about? The guy that's literally right up there. Michael friggin' Jackson. And for those of you who don't know, Michael Jackson is my favorite artist of all time. And Michael Jackson's Bad is actually my favorite album of all time. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, come on, man, I got to get it. Yeah, this is what I got, and WasabiCon was really fun. And also, one more thing before we get into the movies. I actually did get another pop. Now, this one I got from Five Below. And if you guys are pop collectors, you probably already know this. Check out them stores like Five Below and Target and jump for these pops, because sometimes they be having good stuff. And yeah, I was in Five Below, and they usually don't have anything that I'm interested in, but today they had, or not today, this was a few days ago, but they had Doctor Strange from Multiverse of Madness, and I was just like, oh man, I just got America Chavez, I gotta get Doctor Strange, man. That's hard. That's dope. That's super dope. Sorry about the like glare and everything like that. I just got a ring light and I'm still kind of playing around with the settings, playing around with the setup. But yeah, got a couple movies though, and the first one I actually want to talk about, Captain Marvel. I'm not looking forward to the Marvels. I am a huge MCU fan, as you probably can tell. Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to the Marvels all that much. I hit my table. Because I didn't really love this movie when I first seen it, and the second time I seen it, it didn't really change. I've never really had hard feelings towards this movie, and I don't really understand where a lot of people get off calling this movie horrible or saying it's terrible, it's shitty. I don't see all that. But it wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but I did like Miss Marvel quite a bit. I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. And I loved Photon too in WandaVision. Even though she wasn't in the show that much, the parts that she was in the show for, I really enjoyed her and I thought she was great. I've been looking forward to seeing these characters. I don't know how I feel about them deciding to do a group Marvels movie rather than do Captain Marvel 2. I would have rather them do Captain Marvel 2, but hey, to each his own. This is what they decided to do. This is the direction they decided to go in. So we have to just judge it on its own merits. The first trailer dropped and the whole internet acted like it was the worst trailer ever, and I was confused. Did I love the trailer? Not really, but I don't get where people get off saying it's like the worst trailer. I don't understand. I wasn't really happy when I heard it was only an hour and 40. I was just like, really? That's kind of short for an MCU movie. And the last time that something felt really short to me, it wasn't a good thing. You know what I mean? Like I felt like Thor Love and Thunder was way too short. Even though I enjoyed Thor Love and Thunder, I still have to say a lot of the details, a lot of the moments we could have been spending with Gore, you know, watching him actually butcher these gods, since his name is literally Gore, the God Butcher. So like I was expecting to see him actually do that, and we didn't really see him do that. I also expected some more deeper character moments with Thor and with Valkyrie and with Mighty Thor. Not that they were non-existent, but I felt like there could have been more. I also felt like there could have been more in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, even though that's another movie I really enjoy. I love that movie. I think that movie is great, but gotta be honest, I do feel like there were things that were probably left on the cutting room floor that they should have included. You know what I mean? So hearing that the Marvels is going to be short, that didn't make me too happy. And then the one that put the icing on the cake is the recent news that they're not going to be showing the Rotten Tomatoes score until the day before the movie is released. Yeah, it's just that every other thing I hear about Marvels, I'm just like, man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to have faith. And I actually do have faith, you know what I'm saying? We're about to get into it, don't worry. But I do have faith that the movie's going to be cool. I do have faith that the movie is going to be at least entertaining and at least enjoyable, you know what I mean? Like, if for nothing else, the trailers do sell a fun action movie to me. I'm hoping that that's what it is, but yeah, man, I was just thinking, you know, this movie's coming out soon, and it's been a long time since I've watched Captain Marvel. I would love a reason to just come on here and speak positively about Captain Marvel, because it feels like so few people actually do. So yesterday I threw this movie on, and what did I think about it? I still like it. I actually liked it a little bit more this time, which is weird, because I was able to point out a lot more of the flaws I have with the film as well. But firstly, the things I like. I still think Brie Larson is great in the movie. I think she's doing as good as she can with the material that's on the script and with the direction she's being given, which I think she's being directed well. I think the direction in the film is actually really good. And I feel like the cinematography is pretty good. A lot of the action looked great. You know, this movie, it doesn't really spend a whole lot of time on character. It spends a lot more time on the spectacle and on the effects and on the action. But for a movie that focuses a lot on those things, I thought it was really good for the most part. This movie, it felt like what it was supposed to be. A big superhero movie. I felt that. I thought it was cool. I really dig Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and I love seeing Nick Fury and Captain Marvel talk. They just have a lot of chemistry. I think there's a lot of chemistry between Brie and Samuel, and I also just feel like these characters are they're interesting together. I feel like they just have a dynamic. and I thought it was cool. I hope there's more of this in the Marvels. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of it. It seems like Nick Fury's kind of probably in that beginning and maybe he's in it towards the end. But yeah, I hope we get some good scenes with them because I do like them. The character of Talos, who is played by Ben Mendelsohn, who is criminally killed in Secret Invasion, which just makes me feel horrible. And watching this movie actually made me feel even more horrible about that. If you haven't seen my rant on Secret Invasion, you don't have to go watch it. It's not one of my best videos. I'm not, like, if you want to go check that out, you can. I'm not about to advertise it. But I just wanted to say that, you know, one of my biggest issues with the show I actually talked about in that video is that I really feel like Talos was a great character that they didn't even take the time to do anything with. And watching this movie again, I just feel that 10 times, you know, more. Talos is great in this movie. He's one of my favorite parts of this movie. And I feel like this is the other reason I feel like I would have rather gotten Captain Marvel 2 and, you know, watch them actually look for a home for the Skrulls and actually watch them, you know, dive more into that story than going in this Marvel's direction, because Talos, Nick, and freaking Captain Marvel, they're great together. Every scene that all three of them are in, I was loving it. I was really digging it, man. So I don't know why they're going in the direction they're going, but who freaking knows? There are things about the movie that aren't great. I feel like the dialogue isn't too great. I feel like the writing in the movie isn't that great. There's a lot of things that they want to have emotional weight, that they want to have that big cinematic punch. And unfortunately, they don't take the time to build a structure narratively for these things to happen. They don't take the time to set up these character arcs to have this payoff. So when you get to these things that are supposed to be payoffs, it's not bad. Like I can see what they're going for and I can appreciate it, but I really feel like it would hit so much better if they spent more time with it. This is another one of those movies that I would say could have been much longer. I could have watched a 2.5-hour Captain Marvel movie if it meant we got more character development for Captain Marvel, if it meant we spent more time with her as Carol Danvers before we met her as Veers. I get it. The whole thing is this mystery of her finding out who she was and finding out that, you know, everything that she's been living has essentially been kind of a lie. This is not who she is. But I feel like if we spent that time with Carol Danvers as a kid, going through those situations where she would fall down or get knocked down or get told, you're just a girl, you're not going to make it. Oh, you're a girl, you're not going to be able to do this. And then her getting back up and being like, no, I can do this. Screw you. I feel like that would have hit so much harder at the end if we spent more time on it. Yeah, even though I have gripes about this movie, I got to be honest, I enjoy it. If you dislike the movie, you dislike the movie. There's nothing you can do about that. But all this hate training, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop with all the hate training, bro. So yeah, Captain Marvel, I still feel the same way about this movie, but if I had to grade it, I'd probably give it like a strong B. Maybe a light B+, depending on how I'm feeling, but I'm feeling more of the strong B. The other film that I really wanted to talk about is one that I had never seen prior, and it is American Psycho. Never seen this movie before. I didn't know shit about this. All I knew was that it starred my dude, Christian Bale. That was it. I just knew that this dude was playing a crazy dude that was maybe killing bitches. I didn't know what was going on in this movie. This is fucking insane. This movie's basically about this dude who is a businessman. I think they work in stocks or something like that. And basically, these wealthy businessmen, they're assholes, as you expect wealthy businessmen to be. They're assholes. Other than them being assholes, though, Christian Bale is a particularly special kind of asshole, not only because he works out while watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not only because he always has some videotapes to take back to the store.
Patrick!
What is it?
Where are you going?
I've got to return some videotapes.
Not just because of all of that crazy shit. It's not even just because he gets an attitude because one of his co-workers has a business card with thicker font than his. It's not just because of all this shit. It's also because at night he's kind of a murdering psychopath. Or so you think? Like, the way that the movie plays out is that it doesn't really tell you whether what you're looking at is absolutely happening or absolutely real, but they also don't tell you that it's in his head either. They don't really confirm that.
People keep coming out of this film thinking that it's all a dream, and I never intended it. All I wanted was it to be ambiguous in the way that the book was.
Why did they think that?
I think it's a failing of mine in the final scene that I just got the emphasis wrong, because I should have left it just more open-ended. It makes it look like it was all in his head, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's not.
Is everything happening the way? Like, so this nigga actually got a chainsaw? Like, this man is actually in his drawers with a chainsaw running to try to kill somebody, and nobody is saying anything about this? Like, okay. It's one of those movies that asks a lot of you as an audience member, but if you're willing to give what it asks you to suspend a lot of disbelief. But if you're willing to do so, it's kind of fun, dog. Like, it's kind of fun. And it's kind of smart, too. I found this movie very thought-provoking. I spent a lot of time just kind of contemplating what this movie's trying to say. I think it has a lot of different messages, you know, not just a message on evil, wealthy businessmen, but also just a message about how we feel about violence and how we feel about other people. I think it's about the apathy of human beings. I think it's about how we just are so self-absorbed in what we have going on in our own little bubbles that we don't for a second stop to think about what's happening with anybody else outside of our bubbles. I think the movie's about a lot, and I think it's actually very deep. It's one of those films that is growing on me with time. The first time I watched this, I thought it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable, but I was very confused by it. I was just kind of like, I don't really know what the movie was about. But as time has gone on and as I've gotten this itch to rewatch it, it's actually been really growing on me. I see why this is a cult classic. I was originally going to give this a B+, but nah, man, I'm feeling a light A- on this one. I actually really dug American Psycho. So, have you seen American Psycho? Have you seen Captain Marvel? How do you feel about everything we talked about today? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys on the next Physical Flicks. I'm out of here. What was that? That was so corny. I'm never pointing again. Never.